You're listening.
You're listening
You're listening
to the International
Posit Podcast Network. Welcome to Three Guys, Three Questions. In this lightning round, we test the limits of propriety through the questions you ask us. And later, we'll follow up on listener questions and comments from the previous episode. Without further ado, here's our first question. This comes from Leonard via SMS text message. Fancy that?
That's
Yeah.
edge technology.
Yeah, the question is, what do you think really goes on inside Area 51?
Okay, I'm super excited to answer this one because I have the world's greatest theory of what happens in Area 51.
Okay, just remember that this is a lightning round, though, so it can't be very long.
Okay, so here's my answer. It's a secret ice cream development facility. That was it. That's it.
What ice creams have come out of there, or are the developed ice creams still secret?
Yeah, they're still secret. They're too delicious. They're too dangerous for mankind. Like we have to build ourselves up to it.
Wow, it's like weaponized ice cream.
Yeah, I mean, like if it was released right now, like the world economy would crash because everybody would just be like murdering each other for ice cream. It'd be like Mad Max, except for gasoline, it'd be ice cream.
Delicious biological warfare.
I know. They instead of shiny and chrome, it'd be creamy and chrome.
Andrew, what do you think?
I think what's in Area 51 is just smaller Area 50s. It goes down from 50 to 49 to 48. Just smaller and smaller, like Russian nesting dolls.
Like little areas until you get to Area 1.
And there's some ice cream in there.
So is it like little? Is it like models?
Yeah,
like
well, it's like Russian nesting dolls of Area 51. That's what it is.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. My theory isn't really a theory because it comes from a documentary video game known as Area 51.
Is that the one where you shoot aliens at the movie theater?
It certainly is.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that's live video from Area 51. So,
I mean, it looks pretty futuristic.
Yeah, it looks real to me. It convinced me. All right, next question. If you were this comes from Ultra Nerd with a U via Twitter. If you were a bear, what kind would you be?
Panda.
Ooh.
That's a good.
They're lazy and fat, and
they're just like they want to be extinct.
Yeah, they
desperately want to be extinct.
People spend millions and millions of dollars trying to get you laid. Is pretty much what happens.
And yet you can't.
But you can't.
My bear would be whatever bear Baloo is from the Jungle Book.
Blue bear.
Because I like his philosophy. He's got a real Zen kind of thing going on. And I like it.
Have you seen the trailer for the new new Jungle Book?
No, I haven't.
It doesn't look that great, but Bill Murray's supposed to play Baloo, so that might be good.
See? Bill Murray's probably good. Andrew, what about you?
My problem with reboots is that they usually contain more than the bare necessities.
Oh, my gosh. We're halfway in.
All right.
I'd be a Care Bear, just so I can have a magic shoot out of my chest.
Right. I used to love the Care Bears when I was a kid. I was way into it.
Oh yeah, I think
you know what I've never watched?
Children of the '80s, because you're a little bit too young for that.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't even in a twinkle in your pappy's eye.
I was a '90s kid.
Oh my gosh! All right, last question comes from Hillary Hot Stuff via Twitter. What's the last book you really loved and why? I'm going to go first. Mine is Catcher in the Rye. I read that maybe a month or two ago for the first time. I'd only ever, I'd heard enough about the book that I could, pretend to know when people made references to it. But I never actually read it. So I decided to read it, and I liked it. I really enjoyed it. And now I understand who not to like because they say that they didn't like the book, and can understand their worldview a little bit more.
I have a complicated relationship with Catcher in the Rye. I think it literally changed my life and my entire outlook on literature because I read it in high school over the summer as an assignment, and I was like, I hate this book. It's dumb. And then we started talking about it in class, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing.
Were you like, this book is so phony?
Yeah, at first I hated it, and then I was like, oh, this book is so much smarter than I am. And then everything changed.
Right. What's
But
yours?
my
Adam?
answer for this question is it's not really a book. It's a short story by James Joyce called The Encounter. It's I don't know. James Joyce is just amazing because he has this ability to capture life perfectly and then also make it mean something. It's wonderful. And so like our normal lives are pretty banal, but he takes that banality and then twists it into an epiphany of a sort. It's pretty neat.
Wow. So you just used a whole bunch of SAT words there. Andrew.
Hey. So I haven't been able to read any book at my leisure lately because of school. But I did just finish reading Macbeth, which is a lot of fun. I really like that book because it's obviously a classic. And I realize it's really hard to read Shakespeare because it's meant to be a play. But I just imagine Michael Fassbender in the new in all the scenes, like, oh, this makes more sense. So I hope the movie's just like that.
Right.
Also, speaking of literature, have you heard of the new Twilight book that just came out yesterday?
Let's not talk about this.
I've heard it, and I'm going to avoid it.
All it did is change the genders of all the characters. It was like she literally just went to the text document, went search for a name, replace with this name, and that was it.
All right, let's do some follow-up and feedback. First item of follow-up and feedback here is Dan Sturm. He is in awe of our ability to remember all the details of our life and to decide upon our selfish moment. So let's pat ourselves on the back.
It's not that hard when every night when you're trying to go to sleep, all you can think about is all of the terrible things you've ever done.
Right. And to be honest, mine could have been at random. I could have probably had a dozen or so others, but that's the one that came to mind. So the second thing is some people noticed that my question from this last week, from season 5, episode 1, what is your favorite condiment, was lifted from an episode of This Will Never Air, which is another podcast I'm sometimes on.
Oh, so
okay, yeah, I noticed some people were getting really upset about it, and I had no idea why. I was like,
so the night before we recorded season 5, episode 1, I was on This Will Never Air, and we developed a running gag of asking people what their favorite condiment was. And the link to that show will be in the show notes if you haven't heard it. Okay. So and I thought it would be funny.
You, and when you say running gag, what you mean is I annoyed everyone.
Hey, everyone loved it. Everyone's making what's your favorite condiment t-shirts, WWFC bracelets, or WYFC.
What would your favorite condiment do?
Mine would be delicious. That's what it would do. Speaking of favorite condiments, I've seen, Adam, you've gotten some hot sauce feedback.
I see that, and I see.
You just get like random mentions from people with ingredients that they like hot sauce on. I'm so happy it happened.
I love the mention.
Yeah, I mean, Mike really says. Yeah, he says I should mix it with ketchup, and I mean that's a good sentiment. My only problem with that is that sriracha sauce is literally Satan's flop sweat, so you can't make it better.
I love it.
You were missing out. Like hot sauce with ketchup with fries is
so good. All right, and then the last is we got a couple questions from the proprietor and host of This Will Never Air, as well as Better Know a Jackal. And his name is Mike Biesterfeld.
Which is an awesome last name.
He's a good dude.
There's nothing in the rules that say a Biesterfeld can't host a podcast.
His first question was, and I believe this is directed at you, Andrew.
Yeah, I see it.
Did the Pokemon cards make your friend bad? Was it maybe the selection of Pokemon cards that influenced him to becoming a bad person? Have you ever thought about that?
like just all the time. Like I really believe like I was the beginning of his downfall of like a supervillain. like you read the first comic book and that's the interaction right there.
So
I really
think about.
I think he was probably a bad person before then, but that probably didn't help.
All right, second question is, were you being dismissive of the Air Bud franchise? We talked about that for a second. I don't remember what we said even.
You had called somebody a golden retriever, and I said something about how if you replaced that person with an actual golden retriever, it would make a good Air Bud movie.
Right.
And I don't know why Mike thinks that I was being dismissive of the franchise. I was celebrating it. I was making Air Bud fan fiction. I don't see how you could think that was dismissive at all.
Right. You were shipping the Bud.
Yes.
That could be two different things.
I packed it in
Well,
a calculator.
next week the lightning round will be done by Airbud. So
It'll just be dog voices. Well, that's all we have for this week. Did you guys have anything before we go?
nah, keep listening, guys.
Yeah, keep.
Yeah,
listening.
I enjoyed this feedback. It made me happy, which if any of you have listened to any of the other episodes, you know
Yeah.
is true.
Keep sending Adam your list of things you like to put sriracha on. He loves it.
Keep going. I'll add some. Just
I'll keep coming up with creative phrases like Satan swap so I can describe how much I hate sriracha sauce.
you don't like sriracha like even on sushi?
No.
No spicy tuna for you. Well,
It's
thanks for
not-
listening, guys. Would you like us to cover your quandary or settle a debate? Well, you can send us your questions and we will provide answers just as meaningful and deep as the ones we just gave. There are several ways to send us your questions. You can tweet your questions with the hashtag Ask3G, leave a voicemail or text at 760-881-4382, or go to 3g3q.co/ask to submit it via Tumblr. Until next time, remember to question everything.